I have to talk about this because I knew this would happen. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. What I'm going to talk today about is Married at First Sight, the reunion, because listen, I know everyone watched the show and everyone said yes in the decision day. Excuse me, but I have a few questions about that. And then in the reunion, it turned out exactly how I thought it would. And I actually placed bets with my friends and I won. I'm going to start with Josh and Jaylin because they were the ones. Josh was actually the one who gave me the most ick this season. He reminded me of a lot of people that I know, and I clocked it from the start what he was. So on decision day, they said yes. Obviously, because everyone freaking did. And then the reunion, not surprising, they were broken up. Now, during the show, I was screaming at the TV, like, Jaylin, you need to run the other way, girl. You need to have self-esteem and get out of this situation. Because this guy, not only did he cry over Burning Man, but his upbringing was a red flag. His music festival, raving lifestyle at his age was a red flag. And also another red flag was when he said, "Don't you roll your eyes at me." The way he said it was a controlling red flag. And the other red flag with this guy is that he is a blatant narcissist. Now, I don't understand how this show can go on without psychologically screening people, because that kind of feels wrong to me, because you are inducing trauma on people for a show that you don't psychologically screen people for when they're getting married. I feel like that should be a requirement for a lot of things, not just marriage. They need to psychologically screen people, because at this point, these experts shouldn't be called experts. They should be called really bad matchmakers. That's just how it is. Like, y'all are not experts. If you were, this stuff would work out more than it doesn't. So in the reunion, Jaylin was saying that Josh, she went to Burning Man with Josh and she did all the things he wanted to do, which was another red flag, because this guy did not care anything about her hobbies. All he cared about was her wanting to do his hobbies. And that's another red flag. Now, in the beginning, why I clocked it was that he had her on a pedestal. He was like, "Oh, she's so perfect. Everything about her is great. This is great." It was going too well. And when things go too well in the beginning, it kind of puts a little like warning sign up, and it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. It felt like love bombing, but it really wasn't love bombing. It was just him putting her on a pedestal. And that's what people with MPD do. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that, after all of these videos and all of these therapists saying the same thing. They put the person on a pedestal, they idolize them or idealize them. And then when the other person starts acting human, then the devaluation comes. And that's exactly what this guy did. He devalued her when he realized that she was a human with needs of her own, and she was not going to sit there and just be a yes woman for him, because she has her own life and her own hobbies. And a partnership should not only be about one person forcing the other to do everything they like and that's it. I'm glad they're not together anymore, because Josh is a freaking hot mess and he needs to get his ish together. Now, one thing in the reunion that was really interesting is that a lot of the women worked on bettering themselves and going to therapy. And a lot of the men were still sitting there like, "I didn't do nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with me. I'm good." It's all, that is the literal problem. Men, it's okay to go to therapy. It's fine. Actually, it's a sign of strength. So please do it. Couple number 2, Will and Brittany. Okay. As you guys know in my past videos, Brittany has her own issues that she needs to work out. But in the reunion, I was so glad that she actually said she went to therapy. And you know what the messed up part is? Now Will is suddenly interested in her again. So now he's going to try to weasel his way in again, I feel, and then knock her down a peg again. Because that's what men do who aren't healed themselves. They try to come back in and say, "Oh, she's healed. Oh, she's doing so good. Let me see if I can conquer her." So Brittany girl, please don't fall for it. I hope that if you both work your way into each other's lives again, like you both are good and you're both healthy and you both have, your own interests and your own lives. But during the show, she seemed really insecure. She seemed like he had to validate her all the time. And that was the problem in the relationship. He never did anything right because she was always questioning it. So hopefully moving forward, they can establish a friendship that's healthy, and then maybe like get back together if they still have feelings and if they're still in that place. But I'm going to say right now, Brittany girl, watch out. Couple number 3, Rhonda and Pat. I wasn't surprised to hear that they weren't still together after the reunion, but I was surprised to know how long it lasted after the show ended. I think they said 9 months. And then Pat went on a vacation to Europe and he came back and then they separated. And I thought it was because something happened in Europe when he went there. But in the reunion, they clarified that what happened was Pat did not feel sexually connected, or he did not feel like Rhonda wanted him sexually anymore. He didn't feel like Rhonda wanted to do that stuff. And then he just said his switch flipped off and that was it. Now, granted, I'm kind of on the fence about that a little bit because a relationship should not be all about that. But at the end of the day, a lot of marriages and a lot of relationships, that's what happens when people step out, is they don't feel sexually wanted by their partner. Rhonda constantly put Pat down with everything he said and did. It's like he couldn't say anything right. He couldn't do anything right. If he did something, it wasn't the right way. If he looked right, he should have looked left. It's crazy. It was crazy. And I know this show does a lot of editing, so we didn't see everything, but what we did see was that this poor guy could not get a break. I'm glad that they're not together anymore, but at the same time, I'm kind of sad because I was rooting for them. I was rooting for them because I love old people love, because you're at your point in your life where you know who you are, you know what you want, like 110%. You're not going to sacrifice anything. You're going to have healthy conversations because you've been through the ringer before. But at the same time, when we get older, we're set in our ways. That's the downfall. They were set in their ways, Rhonda and Pat both. And so it was really hard for them to kind of deviate from that in the show and make compromises for the other, especially Rhonda, because I feel like that bitch was not compromising at all. That poor man. I feel like until both people can be in a place that's healthy and not berate the other person for doing something that they don't think is the right way to do it, then that's when you can get together. Okay, the next couple, Belynda and Chad. I had reservations from Chad from the beginning, but then he kind of, during the season, he kind of was like winning us over a little bit, like, okay, maybe it's not that bad. But the red flag that stuck in my mind with him was his conversation with his daughter at the beginning of the show, making him the problem. And yes, he is the problem. We come to find out in the reunion. He has alcohol problems. He has anger problems. But I also feel bad for him because I think he's like a former Marine, or he's a former something in the service. And those people can get really messed up. Okay. If you don't know, now you know. Those people can get really messed up in the head. PTSD, mental health, what have you. That's probably why he drinks, and that's probably why he has anger issues. The thing that got me was he said that the dog came on the bed and he like pushed the dog. He did something to the dog. He's like, I'm the alpha in this house. Sir, that is a dog. That is not another human man. That's a dog, and you need to chill out. Like, that's crazy. At that moment, I was like, okay, Belynda did the right thing. They split up. I'm glad they split up. You could tell by her body language, she did not want to stay married, but she was forced into it because Chad had presented her with flowers and he was all like, oh, like, please, will you stay married to me? He literally like forced her because he knew that if he didn't, she would say no. And that is the crazy thing. And that's another controlling aspect that is a red flag about this guy that I did not like. They also showed unseen footage of a crawfish boil where her and her daughter, Jaylin, were literally jumping on Chad's ass and attacking him because of something he had said to her, done to her. It's just, yeah, it's not healthy. So I'm glad they're over. Belynda said she's actually dating someone who's nice and who's great to her. And I love Belynda because you can tell she's just one of those women who tries to be so positive and bubbly, even through her past situations and heartache. And she deserves everything. So Belynda, rooting for you, girl. Love ya. Okay, last couple. And this is the last one for a reason. And I knew they were saving them last on the reunion for a reason. I was having a watch party with my friends and I kind of read ahead about what happened during the reunion. So I had to keep my mouth shut. But when they came on and said what happened, everyone on the watch party was like, oh, and I was just like, yep. So Meghann ended up having a miscarriage, I believe at 10 weeks. Then Derek was like, okay, and I'm leaving. And I was just like, and the crazy thing is me and all my friends were actually feeling bad for Derek the whole show because Meghann seemed crazy the way that the production pointed her out to be, but she wasn't. The baby was already in there. Maybe she had hormones raging and that's why she was crazy at one point. The baby was already in there. My thing with Derek is that I cannot stand and I hate, and I think it is such a huge red flag, like blaring, like, get out the room. He is obsessed with reproducing, and that's all he cares about. He doesn't care about the women. All he cares about is reproducing. And I'm like, sir, are your parents King Henry and Anne Boleyn? Like, are you concerned with producing an heir? Like, are your parents oil tycoons? Because he's obsessed with it. That's all he talked about the whole show. That's all he cared about. When we have babies, how many are we going to have? Let's have 3. I want 3. You don't want 3? Well, I want 3. And then he tried to convince her to have 3. And then she's like, okay, we'll have 3. He literally was trying to get this girl pregnant on purpose. That is very sinister behavior. She's of no use to you anymore, right? You just want women as an incubator. And the fact that women keep giving these males chances like this is why we are like this as a society. Stop giving men like this opportunities, because he's already dating somebody else. And you know, the first thing that came out of that disgusting mouth of his was, yeah, I'm dating someone else and she's really excited to have kids. Like, sir, what is wrong with you? This is the type of man that sees women as only incubators and that's it. And if they don't perform, then he leaves and goes and finds another one. That's disgusting. He's a disgusting human. Meghann, I'm so sorry for saying you were crazy throughout the whole show. I feel you. I see you, and I hope that you find somebody who sees you for you and not just as a baby maker. I just can't believe he's actually with someone again who accepts that. Because, sir, what is your first question on a date with people? How many kids you want? You want kids? How many? You want? I want 3. Okay, well, when can we start? Can we do it now? That's his first date. That's what his first dates are like. So you want to be a mom, right? I hate him. I cannot stand him. He is my least favorite from the show, and the reunion solidified that. Like, I like Josh better than him, and that's saying a lot because Josh disgusts me. I think shows like Married at First Sight really need to take a good hard look at themselves and just be like, okay, we could probably do some stuff better, because most of the couples never stay together, and doesn't that defeat the purpose of the experts? I want to know how many years you guys have in your chosen fields, and if I'm wrong and if you guys have like a lot of experience in your fields, then maybe it's just bad luck. But I don't know how you guys can call these people experts when over 70% of these marriages and stuff never work out. But then again, the whole concept of the show is weird, because you can't really marry someone without knowing them fully first and expect it to work out. It's just not how it goes. That's why they always say marry your best friend. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work like you marry and then you become best friends. You become best friends first and then you get married if you want to. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the conversation below if you're a MAFS fan and what you thought about this season. There's another season coming up, and I think it's going to be in Seattle. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what I read. It's going to be in Seattle. And now at this point, I'm kind of obsessed with this show. So yes, I will be watching the next season. I just like seeing dumpster fires. Have a good day, guys. Happy holidays. I'll see you in the next one.